Hello, today I'm Dr. Lee Threets, and I'm here to give a presentation today on portals. So let's get into portals. The dictionary defines a portal in two ways. Number one, a gateway, a doorway, or other entrance, especially a large and imposing one. And number two, a website or web pages providing access or links to other sites. So in both definitions, a portal is something that leads you to something else. And looking at the origin of the word, which came about in the 14th century, it states that, in part, a portal is a gate and it means to lead, pass over. The first reported sighting of a portal occurred in 1561 over Nuremberg, Germany. That was the first reported sighting. If we move up to modern times, very modern times, on January 1st of 2024, mall patrons claimed that to have seen a portal open up in the middle of a Miami mall in which an alien came out of it, a huge alien, causing a stampede and nearly scared the shoppers to death. But the media squelched that story as they usually do. This leads me to my next point, which is mainstream media's portrayal of portals. On one of the more famous portrayals occurred on August 25th, 1939, when Dorothy got swept away in a portal that resembled a tornado. Dorothy left Kansas and arrived in a brand new dimension with her dog Toto, and then the adventure began for her. Adventures, you might say? Yes, adventures. So Dorothy made her way to Oz, only to find out that she now has a true purpose, which was to get back home. She formed much needed alliances. She assisted team members in finding their much sought after purposes. She had a privilege of working with someone with a brilliant heart. She faced stern opposition, and she had to get through the puzzle that was laid out before her. Another film that made its way into pop culture lexicon was The Matrix. Neo, much like Dorothy, was awakened to his true state, and everything that Dorothy faced, he faced. However, unlike Dorothy, Neo was made aware of the portal that he jumped through and had the glorious opportunity to jump in and out of the portal, as was required of him to solve the puzzle that he faced on on his new found mission. Another Hollywood portrayal of a portal was The Terminator. This was another film that showcased portal's usage. We all know the story and how it linked Arnold Schwarzenegger's character with John and Sarah Connor. Schwarzenegger first came through the portal as an enemy, only to wind up coming back through the portal later as an ally. So some other films that showcase portals, as Hollywood liked to show them, were Harry Potter, Dune, Pan's Labyrinth, Lord of the Rings, and one of my favorites, Black Knight, starring Martin Lawrence. That's just to name a few. But this is Hollywood, and no one has ever been able to present any concrete proof that portals even exist. Not without being labeled crazy and being forced to wear an I Love Me jacket in an insane asylum somewhere. So the question is, how is this relevant outside of space and Hollywood as it pertains to portals? The topic becomes relevant once you totally dissect what a portal is or can be. So let's talk about portals as they pertain to everyday life. Education. This country tells you that in order to live the American dream, you will need a good job. And a good job is usually defined by the amount of education and or skills training that you have received. So college campuses all over the world present themselves as portals for everyday people. Once you've completed your educational journeys, a whole world of opportunity opens up to you, or so they say. CDLs, which stands for commercial driver's license, is where a person studies for and receives a CDL. Once this is completed, a whole world of opportunity opens up for them. In 2022, trucking accounted for 80.7% of the country's freight costs and contributed to $389.3 billion to the US's GDP. So as we can see, that becomes a portal. A help wanted sign. Anyone that sees a help wanted sign in a window or on the door of an establishment and acts on that opportunity, either A, needs a job, or B, needed a higher paying job. Because of this help wanted sign becomes a portal for this person to better their life as it stands in their present time. A tricky one. Love. Remember the early stages of love when you felt invigorated to do things, to move. You were motivated to see and explore things, to get your hair done, wash the car, etc. Love inspires people to want to be better. And in this case, love acts as a portal. When a person is in love, a whole world of opportunity opens up for them. So there are an infinite amount of portal examples out there, and I will allow you to examine them at your own leisure. But moving on, what are some things that have come out of portals, you may ask? So some things that have come out of portals, we saw that in Miami, and you can Google these, it was reported that an alien came out of a portal. We've heard that and seen in movies and stuff that spaceships have come out of portals. Some people have reported seeing great beams of light shooting from portals. But I'll name a few things that have come out of portals as it stands in everyday lives before my eyes. Braces. People get braces on their teeth, straighten their teeth out. Braces cost money. Usually people with good jobs, have good insurance, are able to put braces on their children's teeth. New cars, beautiful homes, private school education, piano lessons. Here's a big one, as I mentioned earlier, higher quality health care comes out of portals. Higher quality foods to eat comes out of portals. Vacations. I could go on and on about the things that come out of a portal today, but I'll digress and keep this moving on. So when you look at a portal, how is it that I jump through a portal? Easy when the opportunity presents itself. You know, again, as some of the things I've mentioned, training for a CDL or getting certified for a CDL to get your CDLs or going to college and education, you still have work to do. The actual CDL isn't a portal. The actual colleges all over the US, they aren't portals. You know, they present themselves as that you have to walk through. So you have to do the work that comes with going to school. You know, application fee, which costs money, you know, getting either qualifying for federal grants or student loans or whatnot. And then you have to take the courses and you have to finish the courses. And it could be grueling. You have to go through, usually in this country, 4 years, or if you went the 2-year school route, 2 years, or if you went through skills training, I don't know how long it takes to get a CDL or become Microsoft certified or things of that nature. So, but either way, there's work to be done. And so this is the work that you have to put in once you slip through this portal. This portal is an opportunity for you. And after you go through this portal and come out on the other side with my degree, with my CDLs, you know, with my higher training in my job, which lands me a promotion, which leads to a raise, which leads to me being able to purchase that home, which leads to me being able to purchase a newer car, to wear finer suits and things of that nature, to put braces on my children's teeth, or maybe even on my own teeth, to maybe now start shop and go get food at Whole Foods instead of going to Aldi's. Nothing against Aldi's. Aldi's has some great products as well. But I'm just saying these are the things that the that comes from the accoutrements that comes from once you arrive on the other side of the portal. So there is work to be done once you go through a portal. Now, there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't understand. The frequencies that we're on right now, the life that you live right now, that's so deeply embedded within you and deeply embedded within the people that you hang around, your family members, your friends. So once you leap through this portal, you're going to a new dimension. You're taking yourself to a new dimension. Now, this is a dimension that a lot of your friends and families, they won't be at that dimension. They won't be at that frequency. Otherwise, you'd be jumping through the portal to meet them where they are. So you'd be jumping and leaving them behind on that frequency per se. You'll be leaving them old jobs or job opportunities. You'll be leaving that stuff behind, as you jump through the portal. Now, those things deserve a right to live also. They fight for existence in life also. So these people will pull you. Their circumstances will pull you and keep you on that same frequency. And believe me, these jobs will use you like a Duracell battery. They will keep you from your purpose. They will keep you from being able to jump through portals to better yourself, to leave that job, to go to something greater. So they're designed to do that. And so once you've locked yourself in to say, hey, I need change in my life, I'm going to jump through this portal. I see this portal opportunity. I'm going to jump through it. I'm going to change my life. Trust and believe that friends and families things will happen. Things will get in your way. Things will try to cloud the portal. But here's the beautiful thing about portals. They only open up for so long. And they don't wait. They don't have faith. They don't play favoritism games. So they don't say, oh, this person over here, because this is Trump's daughter, this portal's going to open longer for him, and Joe Blow's son over there. Nope, it's going to remain open for 2 or 3 seconds. And so it is up to you to understand that there's going to be a lot of sacrifice, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of missing out on some things that you might have done. Maybe maybe I can only go to the cigar bar once a week, whereas I was going 4 times a week because now maybe I'm paying for this computer course that I'm taking to change my destiny, to change my fate. I'm jumping through this portal to change my existence and my life as it stands today. And so these are things that I have to be aware of and be cognizant of for sure. And so portals are things that you have to be, as I said, you have to be able to see them as they are and as they present themselves in your life today. Don't look up into the sky. Hollywood has us looking up into the sky, looking for this orb to pop open, and everybody sees this orb and everybody's in awe, like, oh my God, look up, look up, look at what's happening. Oh, that's a portal. Man, I wonder what's going to come out of it. And so instead of taking action to say, man, that's a portal, I need to jump through it. And so the things that I mentioned earlier in the conversation, like I said, the help wanted sign, the schools, the CDL training, the computer training, or whatever it is, you have to be able to see these things as a portal for yourself to change your existence. And a lot of people, when you look at industry as it pertains to, let's just say, the United States of America, I'm only going to speak on the country that I'm in. The United States of America needs your energy to keep its pulse going, to keep its heartbeat going. And so it doesn't mind you bettering yourself. And but again, but the companies that we work at currently, oh, they're gonna have a problem with it. They don't want to replace you with someone else. So you should expect things to happen, for them to add more hours to you or change your hours, which will make it a little tougher for you to study. You have to understand that this is going to happen. Family members are going to get sick. Family members, unfortunately, going to pass over to the next realm. I mean, these things are always going to happen. And so the question for me has always been, if I was making $10,000 or $10 million, guess what? People are still going to be dying. People are still going to be getting sick. These jobs are still going to be pulling at me. I'm still going to have bills. COVID still happen. These things are going to go. It's going to be hot in Florida. Hurricanes are going to come between June and November 1st. Severe rainstorms. These things are going to happen whether I'm making $10,000 or $10 million. These things are gonna happen whether I have a job making $12 an hour or I have a job making $45 an hour. These things are still going to happen regardless, and there's nothing I can do to stop that. However, I do have it in my control to decide whether I want to make $12 an hour, $15 an hour, $18 an hour, or whether I want to make $45 an hour, or $50 an hour, $55 an hour. All of that's within my control. So when I'm looking at the two, again, the $55 an hour, again, that equals braces on my teeth if they're needed. That equals the things that I mentioned before, maybe even private school education for my own son. You know, that's what that stuff equals, and that's what it comes down to: gym memberships and things of that nature. So a higher quality of living, if you will. So with that being said, in closing, the United States will be holding its 47th presidential election on November 5th, and many more after that. 4 years from that, November 5th, 4 years from now, November 4th, 8 years from now, I mean 5th, no, 8 years from now, November 5th, 12 years from now, it will do that, on and on and on. So I'll leave you with this rhetorical question: what kind of portal will this present for you? I'm Dr. Lee Threets, and my presentation is finished and open for questions. Thank you.
When
Appreciate it.
we speak of portals that's manifested before us, you meaning as we go through them and go through the different exchanges that may occur from them? Is that the definition of portal itself?
Well, yeah, well, yes and no. Well, yes, in the sense that yes, that is the definition of a portal itself, but and no, in the sense that also the portal represents opportunity. I mean, I'm gonna use you for instance, my brother, if I will. You know, you've always been the sharp brother, always from the moment I met you in that community center that I met you at. And I've looked at your progression and looked at the portals that you jumped through from there. You know, Arms Way presented a portal for you. The educational aspect presented a portal for you. You know, you've gotten public speaking opportunities that have presented portals for you. You've started another business that's got, I'm looking at you jumping through portals every day. And I look at where you were and I look at where you are now, and I shudder to even think about where you're going to be in 2026. You know, when I look at the progress and the portals that you jumped through. So yeah, portals, like I say, yes to what you said, but also presents opportunities, and those opportunities don't come without work.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Can I add something here? Because
Yeah.
I would like to say that also traveling is a portal, can be seen as a portal, because you are changing your environment, you are getting new impressions, and it opens completely new opportunities to you when you let them in and you're not just going for tourism.
You are exactly right. I remember being a teenager and first getting my driver's license. Now I'm driving all over the other sides of town in Milwaukee that I had never even been to before. You know, I'm seeing different things. You are absolutely right. A driver's license can be a portal. A train ticket can be a portal. An airplane ticket. You're absolutely right. Travel can open up your world to a myriad of different things, man, that you might have been either not exposed to or had limitations in your exposure.
And I still would like to add one more thing, and this is like I just remember like when I was around in my teens, and there was a time when I just thought like, okay, a lot of doors in this town I haven't been able to walk in. So by changing my behavior, by changing a lot of aspects of my personality, I was able to walk through any of those doors. So just to also contribute to the idea of the portal.
Exactly. And I love that because you went within and you changed your perception about things. And once your perception was changed about things, it sounded like those doors that were once might have been closed or struggling to open, now those doors are just flung wide open just by a change in perception. I totally agree with that 100%.
I have a question, I suppose. It's just based off your presentation, which was again as I'm just echoing here a phenomenal presentation, but in juxtaposition to maybe some of the yin that you gave, maybe part of the yang would be saying, or I'm asking here, if you're not necessarily active or taking certain actions that would promote a positive portal, or if maybe your association is not of a progression movement, could the same be said as far as portals that would show itself available that take you somewhere that you wouldn't want to be?
Of course. Of course. So, you know, hey, Pookie and Ray Ray, as we like to call them, always present portal opportunities for us. And so you are absolutely right. And when you look at, you mentioned the yang, when you look at yin and yang, you know, yin and yang, they're opposites. And so the opposites, what they represent are chaos and control or order. So chaos, you know, that's in control, that's under control, that's in order, you know, is a different type of chaos as opposed to just, man, there's chaos here with no, I'm not in control of it. Unfortunately, a lot of us, a lot of people don't see the control that they actually have over the chaos that's going on in their lives. So they leave it to other factors and things of that nature. And so with that being the case, you are absolutely right. I can be this college student. I'm going to classes. I'm doing all of these things. I'm struggling to go through classes. And, you know, me and 5 or 6 of my friends put our money together to share a pizza because we're hungry and we're doing this. And you're right. I can go home and jump in the car with a friend from back home or a relative from back home, and the car can be stolen. Police get behind us. We're in a high-speed chase. This person won't stop and let me out. You know, we could have an accident that could paralyze me and kill that person. You're absolutely correct that you can jump through portals that are waiting to take you to frequencies that are beyond you, that are behind you. So yeah, that is a great point. But typically when you put the blinders on and you're focused, and when you go through and change your frequency and change your level, your friendships change and the people that are around you change. And so these people are typically doing the same thing that you're doing. I'm here in school starving to get a college degree. These people are in school starving to get a college degree. But the people that are back home working and chose not to go to school, we don't have anything in common anymore. And so I typically find myself hanging around the people, you know, on my daily basis that are doing what I'm doing, you know, like work friends. We typically develop great work friends. Great work friends are great for as long as you're working at the company. The moment you switch companies, you know, those relationships slowly dissipate. You know, you're not hanging around them as much. You're not seeing them anymore because they were in your everyday, your Monday through Friday for 40 hours a week, 40 plus hours a week. And now they're no longer in that. And so those friendships will just fade to black. And so then you'll develop new friendships. Well, that's how it is in the frequency work. So once I'm going to college, using that as an example, once I'm in college, I'm only hanging around college students. Once I graduated, now I got a job, so I'm hanging around with people that's at this job that I got. You know, and then my college friends that I graduated with, these are still my good friends, and they're all educated and they all have jobs, and we're all finding out about, hey, you know what, this job over here is paying this and that, and then we're sharing recipes with one another, and those are more portals that we're jumping through and bettering our lives in that sense. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, just as a follow-up statement, and I appreciate that does answer. I was just thinking about it because as you were mentioning the portal in the mall in Miami in January this year, and there were a multitude of reactions to that, and maybe some people had a negative reaction perception to it, and maybe some people looked at it in a different aspect as maybe a potential for something else. So it was just something that spurred my mind, but I appreciate it. You definitely answered that or confirmed what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, appreciate the question. Brother Jackson has a question.
Yes. My question is about follow up on this question about how can you tell which portals are good and bad portals, especially when you're talking about a portal as joining a group that will help you
Well, in terms of how can I tell whether you can tell whether a portal is good or bad for you? I mean, let me see, one portal presents an opportunity for me to sell crack cocaine with my friend over here, and another portal over here, presents an opportunity for me to go and get my CDLs and just like my buddies that are driving trucks and jump in like with them. I've seen how the trucking industry and the CDLs have changed and transformed their lives, and I also see how in this temporary life where selling this crack cocaine, how it has maybe changed and transformed this person's life. However, this person's life over here has a very limited time frame with an ending that says either prison or the graveyard. And so this how I'm able to see the differences there. And as you just said, and breaking down what you said with the other one, there's always work to be done. The other part of your question, there's always work to be done. And so once I jump through a portal, I have an opportunity to, let's just say I went to medical school. I became a doctor. Can I find doctors that might be, on the black web or the black market and investing in things in the black market? Sure, I can. And I can also find some that are doing things the right way. You're never gonna, chaos and order are always gonna represent themselves. They're always gonna be around. You're always gonna have an opportunity to go to the left or opportunity to go to the right, no matter what it is you do. Look at, I mentioned the presidential election. I can become president or take any office, hold any office in our country. And I'm pretty sure that there are a myriad of things that I could do that could take me off on the negative end of things. And there should be a myriad of things that I could do that could take me off on the positive things. And therefore my contribution to the country or to the state or to the city or to the county, now that's going to depend on my contribution can either be have a negative effect on those things, or it can have a positive effect on those things. So chaos has been here since the beginning and will be here to the end. And just like chaos is counterbalanced with order, you have to have order. If you don't have no order, then that's it. And that's what the whole yin and yang principle is. It didn't just say yang and it didn't just say yin. It said yin yang, and that's where you get the black, the white, the up, the down, the left, the right, the fat, the skinny, the dumb, the smart, the poor, the rich. You're always going to have them too, because without poor, we don't know what rich is. Rich doesn't exist. So they need one another to survive.
Briefly, what about groups like religious groups or fraternal groups or other groups? How will somebody know which is best for them to join to be the best portal for them?
Well, you would hope that people will have done their research, before you go jumping into something. But again, once again, I can just go join a fraternal group or another group, and the movement was for us we're heading to San Antonio, Texas. The mission is San Antonio, Texas, right? Okay, well, I didn't ask the question of what happens once we get to San Antonio, Texas. Oh, there's going to be a new mission. At this point, we're going to take it to Utah. Well, I didn't want to go to Utah. You guys reeled me in with San Antonio, Texas. I didn't know anything about Utah. So my point is that when you're going into a group, now you're talking group think, and you're talking about the group's mission. And so when you go into the group's mission and group think, the group has the right to decide whatever it wants to do that's best for the group. And if that's not good for me, that's going to come down to me making a decision on if this group is good for me doing my research, and then understanding that to get out of my selfishness, to get out of the negative side of ego, who am I to think that once I join this group is supposed to conform to see things the way I see things and to do things the way I want to do things. If I can't take the positive things or negative, depending on your mindset, depending on what you're after, if I can't take the things that applies to me, and put them into my daily life that builds me up and makes me better, which produces greater contributions to the group, then what's the point? So it still comes back to the individual.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that kind of brought up a point to me. I was talking to someone. We were talking about Eastern Indian philosophies, And I was just joking with her. I was like, well, why not take it to the root? Because they got it from ancient Egypt. Everything comes from ancient Egypt. Most men will tell you that civilization started in Africa. Most historians and scientists will tell you that. So why not go back to the root of it? That way, if I'm getting it from the root, then I can apply it to how things are for me today. Or I can go and study the Eastern Indian philosophy, and the Eastern Indian philosophy might work great in Eastern India. But when you're in the United States of America, it may have to be applied differently. And so now I should be able to take that information that I got, and I have to be able to apply that to the circumstances that are in my everyday vernacular, you know. And so, and it may not look like, you know, my yoga practices or whatever, my Eastern Indian philosophies may look different than someone that's doing it in London, England, or Paris, France, or even India, as we say the root, or even going back to the motherland of Africa. So if there's no more questions, we will close this out. I appreciate you guys for joining me on the presentation, and I hope that you got something from it. Thank you.